my name is Melissa. This is the tiny house that I helped build. Her name is the Tiny Piney, and we're in Flagstaff, Arizona. I definitely think I am a hickster, which is kind of like where I grew up. I like doing stuff like four-wheeling and hunting and fishing and stuff like that, and just being out in nature. And then the hippie side of me is more of like a 70s hippie, like Stevie Nicks vibes. I just love being able to be self-sufficient and like have gardens and plants and go to music festivals or live in the van if I want, just kind of that free spirit vibe. Definitely have that. I grew up in Pennsylvania and I moved out to Flagstaff 3 years ago now. I work in social work, so I help people with disabilities and getting them jobs. I currently work remotely, which is nice because I can travel when I want. The dimensions of my tiny house are 24 feet long, 32 with the hitch, 8 feet wide, 13.5 feet tall at the tallest point of the roof. And I have about an acre of space that I rent out on somebody else's property. It's kind of like a farm. Some things about this property that I love: I have 2 parking spaces. I see moose every once in a while. Not moose, elk. Elk every once in a while that will come and jump over the fence. We have horses on the property. We have goats on the property. We used to have pigs. We have chickens. And my landlord who lives here is great. She also houses some folks who have different barriers and has a, beautiful property that I'm grateful to share with her. So on the property, I also have water and septic hookups. It's full solar, but I dug the trenches myself to get the water and septic hooked up to the tiny house. So it's like a real house. The electrical for the tiny house is 99% off-grid. It's facing the wrong way, so I had to raise the solar so it's facing more southeast, but it's not fully in the right direction to get as much sun as I need. So this is my van. Her name is Alice in Wonderland. That's where I travel when I'm on the road, and I can live out of it fully. It's a 2003 Chevy Express 1500 van. And the build is brand new. There's just about everything you need to live inside there. I love being on the road with her. So some of my favorite features about this van are the bed is really comfortable. I feel very spoiled when I'm on the road. I love being able to have everything that I need while I'm traveling, and it definitely simplifies things again. It makes you have to be a utilitarian. It makes you have to be just super authentic and intentional with everything you have in there. And that's what I've done with it. I have a lot of art supplies, a sink, I have a fridge, a stove, everything you need to be happy and live a full life while being on the road and traveling to cool places is magical to me. So over here is my seating area. It really opens up the space and gives me more square footage at the end of the day. Everything here cost me about $100 on Facebook Marketplace, all this furniture. And these chairs rock, which I love. So I hang out here just about every morning and every night when it's nice outside. All right, let's go check out the inside. To the Tiny Piney. So there's 288 square feet of pure love in here. Just about everything I think is repurposed, reclaimed, upcycled, which is beautiful to me. Although I didn't design it, they did such a good job with keeping it open and bright in here, using stained glass for different colors throughout the day, I think is magical. And my plants survive, so it must be sunny enough to thrive in this environment. And you'll see all the wood and all the little furnishings of how just eclectic and how much character it kind of gives the house in general. It makes it feel homey. So this is the living room. I'll start over here with the solar. So this is where all the batteries and everything for the solar is. These are reclaimed wood as well. And my motorcycle helmet, my toolbox, because I'm a handy woman, is in there. Fire extinguisher, all the good stuff. This furniture is all secondhand. This was made out of bee hives, actually. So those bee boxes, they made a furniture out of it, so it's pretty cool. This is my electrical box, my heater. So this keeps me warm in the winter. My plants are thriving on top. As far as my furniture, everything is secondhand. This couch is from the 60s. It was barely used and I jumped right on that. This I found on the side of the road. Somebody was getting rid of this and I was like, that is perfect for a tiny house. So more storage there. And then my barometer, just to keep track of the humidity and temperature and everything going on in Flagstaff. It's usually dry. As you can see, my stairs are gigantic, and that was for the purpose of being able to sit on them when I have guests. So I've had, I think, up to 15 people in this house at one time, and 2 or 3 people will sit on each stair, so that's nice. And then I have these eclectic smaller stairs that also have storage in them. They're kind of hard to get used to going up, but it's nice to have storage and smaller steps. I wanted to live in a tiny house because it was affordable. I had my rent go basically double in a month in Flagstaff and I couldn't afford it and I was gonna leave. And then I manifested this tiny house. I was like, how can I be creative in a way that's a little bit more of a challenge maybe, but it was minimally invasive to even the environment because I don't use a lot of resources. It's a smaller space. I love that idea of just being minimalistic and like a utilitarian. I knew I always could live in a tiny house. I don't have a lot of stuff. I like having the flexibility to travel and live here and then in the van if I want, because I just love exploring and getting closer to nature, whatever that looks like. I just want to be in nature. I want to be seeing new views for the first time. That to me is grounding. And then going to see my family. I go back to the East Coast 4 times a year. I just love my family. It's a huge part of who I am. So seeing my friends and family on the East Coast is important to me. So I have that freedom. And yeah, I don't feel bad leaving here because my expenses are so low and I'm able to maybe winterize this place or leave it or rent it out while I'm gone, so I don't feel guilty leaving. I split my time between the tiny house, which is probably 50 to 69% of the time, and then I live in the van probably 10 to 15% of the time, and then the rest of the time I'm traveling just elsewhere, not in either of those. And then, for example, over Labor Day weekend, I had guests who rented it out on Airbnb. So during that time, I stayed in the van and just camped at the Grand Canyon. When I do rent it, it pays for all my expenses related to the tiny house, so it works out. This is my dining room. So this is where I usually eat, and it's my office space because this is where I work. So I put my computer right there and work. And then just some more antiques that remind me of the places I've been. I've been to about 36 countries, I think, and I usually get one thing from each spot. So I can't have too much, knickknacks, but it's nice to have one from each country and then I think back to it. So this is where I make my coffee and tea and journal and stuff like that. I have some books and tarot cards under there and storage here. So these little cabinets, huge for storage. My records are underneath. So now we're in the kitchen, just a few steps away. This is where I make food and coffee in the morning. This is some more antique and family heirloom stuff up here. And then into the fridge, which is the favorite part of this tour, we have Mother Road beer, of course. So this is a local beer from Flagstaff. It's actually the #1 IPA in all of Arizona. It's really good. So I always have those on hand. I have more storage underneath the fridge. So there's just tons of storage. I honestly don't even know what to do with most of it. So on this side, I have a propane stove, which is nice. I also have an oven. It's just a beautiful way to cook. It's a lot easier, I think. And then a farmhouse sink, which was reclaimed from habitat, and dishes. And then this is a water filtration system. Counter space is nice. This is where I make soap. So I have plenty of space to make soap, cook. This area is pretty multifunctional. I have my music here, some honey and wine things, and some more plants. And do you want to see the washing machine? It's a Magic Chef, and I wash everything in here and then I take it outside and dry it out on the clothesline. I don't have any issues drying anything outside unless it's winter. Now we'll head to the bathroom. You'll see a regular toilet. It's plumbed, it's great. And I have some storage and reclaimed wood in here, another plant. And then it's pretty big. I mean, I have a full sink, counter space, tons of counter space, tons of storage under here. My builder built these in like 15 minutes. And I remember he was like, what kind of handles do you want? And I was like, the oldest looking ones that you have. So he put those handles on and yeah, painted everything myself. And on this side, behind the door, there's a shower. It's an old trough that they made into a shower, and it's pretty big in there. So I pay $450 for renting this space here, and it includes water and septic hookups and Wi-Fi. And then I have full solar, so I don't really need electricity. And it includes all these animals and my landlord and all the people on this property who I love and are like family. So the tiny house cost $69,000, and I paid $1,000 to move it from Prescott to here. And I remember the next day after I bought it, the builder was like, hey, I'll give you $80,000 for that thing, because he didn't really want to sell it. He was so hesitant to sell it. He fell in love with it just as much as I did. So the builders of this tiny house in 2021, they built it. It was Mike Versteeg and then Jim Moses. They kind of work together. They build bigger houses and also do a lot of solar work. And this was their second tiny house build together, and they were building it in Prescott. It was bare bones when I first walked in to see it. And then throughout the whole process of adding everything else, I went down to Prescott just about every weekend to help with the build. And then I helped paint, polyurethane, really whatever I could help with, I did. And at the end, he was like, I'll build you this deck for free since you helped so much. And I was like, cool, perfect, got a free deck. And he built it in like 20 minutes.
Do you believe in magic? Well, Yoshino's new B2000 SST power station definitely seems magical, offering high output battery power but weighs up to 50% less than competitors. It features a 1300 watt-hour capacity, 2000 watt output, and a 3000 watt peak surge, but it's only 31 pounds. It's giving me phenomenal cosmic powers, itty-bitty living space vibes. Not only does the revolutionary solid-state battery technology have a power-to-weight ratio up to double that of traditional lithium-ion batteries, it's much more long-lasting and safer too. Even in extreme cold, the B2000 SST will safely keep working in below freezing temps. At home, if a blackout hits, it can power most appliances. These sleek ergonomic handles make it super easy for carrying. The cherry on top? It recharges from 0 to 100% in less than an hour. Get your Yoshino B2000 SST power station today. See the link in the description.
So that's it for downstairs, and the next thing we'll check out is the loft upstairs. So now we're in the loft. This is my bedroom. It has nice carpet, a full-size bed, which is very comfortable, and some more stuff that I found at antique stores. This tiny little nightstand, it looks like it was made for this tiny house. It's so cute. It gets a little warmer up here in the summer and in the winter with the heat, but I just open the windows and it's fine. It's perfect for sleeping. I mean, you can't stand, but by the time you get up here, you're ready for bed. So it works. So over here, I have some storage for clothes. So this is where I put all my clothes and extra linens and stuff like that. I do yoga up here once in a while because there's a lot of floor space, but it's more like laying down, stretching and yoga. I work with people with disabilities and different barriers and getting them jobs. I help them find the job, I help them train for the job, and then I help them keep the job. It's giving them their own advocacy so they can help themselves in that process and aiding that for them, and I love it. I knew that's what I wanted to do for the last 10 years and I love it. And now I can do it remote, which is even better. I actually own a soap company. I make soap in here too, my little side hustle. I'm grateful to be able to do that from here as well and have the storage to put all my soap making materials and still run that company out of a tiny house. I love the simplicity of a tiny space. I always have. I think just about everything in here is repurposed. You can see in a lot of the wood that it's older and was turned into something else. And the paint, the floors, the heater, the sink, the door, I could just point to just about everything in here, and it's been repurposed and upcycled. It's from Habitat, or it was from a project that was for a big house and then they had extra materials left over at the end and they used it in here. It's so magical to reuse something that could have been thrown away.
Thank you for watching our video and for stopping by Tiny House Expedition. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Christian. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And for more tiny home tours and stories, click the videos below.
And join us on Instagram for bonus content,
including face-to-face conversations with us. We hope to see you there.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.